L. Joseph Cable, and this is my life story. I first saw the light of day in the then extremely small town of Sonoma, California, lazily perched on the northernmost edge of the San Francisco Bay, while at the same time cozily nestled into the heart of the Valley of the Moon. I was officially born at 11:02 p.m. on the 6th day of January 1960, which falls on the Feast of the Epiphany, as well as being the last hour of the last day of the 12 days of Christmas. So, I pretty much showed up just as the party was ending, and that's also pretty much been the story of my life ever since. If that's not depressing enough, it was also a Wednesday, and we all know what Wednesday's child was full of. I had a relatively uneventful 60s suburban childhood, attending Catholic school at St. Francis of Solano Church. He's the other St. Francis, the one Zeffirelli didn't make a movie about. I also served as an altar boy in the church, but you can just hold on to your salaciously salivating horses, as I was never molested. Our priests were all the good old-fashioned kind, Irish alcoholics. Sorry to disappoint you. Also, it was determined very early in my life that I was a gifted child, and, as such, from the age of 3 on, I was continually reminded by my family that my entire life had already been planned out for me. I would pursue a well-paying profession like medicine or the law, and would then financially support my entire family as they entered into their autumn years. The wisdom of my family piling this enormous responsibility on the shoulders of a 3-year-old child is questionable at best, and the passage of time has shown that in this respect, and many others, I have been a huge disappointment to them. I attended Sonoma Valley High School, but graduated 2 years early and went directly to college. In retrospect, this was a mistake. As an artist and intellectual, I mean, a freak and a weirdo, I was already having enough trouble getting laid amongst my peers. And so my chances with women who were all at least 2 years older than me turned out to be less than zero. It was during these years that my passion for filmmaking really came to the fore, and, much to my family's chagrin, I gave up chasing a degree to go to film school. By the time I graduated, I'd compiled an impressive portfolio of works, hours of completed films and videos. At the age of 20, I took a job with United California Bank in order to earn enough money to finance my magnum opus, with which I planned to conquer Hollywood. Life, however, had other plans for me. On the afternoon of March 5th, 1980, while I was working at the bank, a fire broke out at my home. By the time it was extinguished, my grandfather had been killed, and every film and video I had ever done was completely destroyed, along with all my journals, my entire record and tape collection, all my costumes and makeup, my 2,000-plus comic book collection, most of my library, and many irreplaceable items from my childhood. After all these years, it remains the single most tragic loss I have ever faced. March 5th is also, not coincidentally I believe, the date of my ex-wife's birthday. If nothing else, you've got to appreciate the irony. Speaking of my ex-wife, she was married with children when I met her, and she abandoned all to be with me. We were together for 14 relatively happy years, but my continuing failure to succeed in my chosen vocation and my complete lack of ambition to succeed in any other eventually led to the dissolution of my marriage. The total cost of my divorce was only $250, which we split down the middle. I got off cheaply, but having known the joy of true love, I was now reluctant to settle for anything less. And that's where my troubles really began. I'd returned to banking after my divorce. Hey, a guy's gotta eat. But never gave up on my dreams of artistic recognition. That is why, several years ago, in 2004, I took a hint from Ross McElwee and decided to turn my own life into a documentary. To facilitate this, I purchased my first digital motion picture camera, which I began to carry with me everywhere, confiding in it as if it were my most trusted friend. As for my family, well, they always did everything in their power to discourage me from pursuing a career in the arts. My greatest fear is that they may have been right. I mean, I've always believed that I was the single most talented person in the history of motion pictures. And yet, I'm 55 years old and you've never heard of me. So much for that particular delusion of grandeur, huh? Now, I'm putting to you the same question I put to myself all those years ago. Can I make a legitimate video out of my abject failure to turn my life into art?
So now, prepare yourself for the wonder,
The splendor.
unadulterated dickishness of cable crime.
Oh shit!